All right, we're going to look at a little introduction to graphing absolute value equations. So let's think about, we're going to input some values, and so our input is our x value, and what we want to output is our output is a function that depends on x, and our output value is going to be the absolute value of x. So essentially what we want to do is we want to take all of these values to our left, and we want to find the absolute value of them. And so, as we would expect, it's just going to take our values and make sure that they're positive. So it's going to get rid of their sign. And so now we've got input values and output values that are run through my function, which is the absolute value function. And if I were to sketch these points, so if I go to chart and go to other and make a scatter plot, or I'll make a straight line scatter, what we see is a typical sort of feature of absolute value functions. So we've got this v where we've got some negative slope here, and then we've got a positive slope going on there. And as we can see, this is a slope of negative x, and then we have a slope of positive x. So we're essentially piecing two functions together. Let's look at that again in a different way. So here we have the absolute value of x, and we see we've got this function that's made up partly of y equals negative x and partly of y equals x. Well, it's following y equals negative x only up until 0, and then after 0 it starts following y equals x. So we can think about absolute values as being a construction of two different linear functions. Well, let's mess around a little bit with the absolute values here, and this is something you'll be working on in your assignment. Let's think about having a couple different coefficients. So h and k are constant values, but that we can manipulate. So we're adding sliders. So what we see is, if we start off at h equals 0 and k equals 0, and I'm going to draw my original absolute value. As long as h is 0 and k is 0, this equation here is just y equals absolute value of x. But as I move h, what happens? As my h value, as I move it, I'm sliding away. So I'm shifting that origin. And as I move it to the other direction, it shifts over. And what's going to be the effect of k? Well, let's mess around with that. As I move k, it shifts up and shifts down. All right, well, that's enough of an introduction to absolute values. You will be messing around with them in this exploration problem set. All right, good luck with that.